Connect on social media. Connect on Facebook and Twitter. Connect with iPower One Nation. Stay connected with iPower One.
From the Hard Planet Media Studios in New York, this is iPower 2 This Moment.
And now a disturbing discovery in Queens. A dead baby was found in a trash can at a park in Astoria. And now the investigation into how something like this could happen is heating up. News 4's Wale Aliyu live in Astoria. So many questions here, Wale. First of all, how was the baby found?
Well, it's really just a sad story. Police recovering that baby in an elementary school playground in a trash can, just like this one. In fact, you can still see some of the detectives. Police tell me that baby was recovered 200 feet deep inside this playground. Police also saying it is unclear how long the baby had been here, but police do believe he was dead prior to the discovery.
Only the bag handle was covering its face.
Devon Davis was walking through Dutch Kill's playground around 10:30 Saturday morning when he noticed a strong smell.
I thought it was just cans, like garbage from singing and all that, or animals being run over, killed, dying and all that.
The next thing he saw, a couple of his friends standing by a trash can in shock.
When she called me over, she told me there was a baby in the trash can, like wrapped him in a bag. Like, I didn't know if he was dead or alive because he was wrapped up in blood.
He called 911 and led the paramedics to the newborn baby.
When they said, 911, what was your emergency? I told them, I think there's like a baby in the trash can. It was just a plastic white bag. It wasn't really covered up. Like, only the bag handle was covering its face.
Police say after the medical examiner determines the little boy's cause of death, they will know how to investigate the case.
Very shocked. It's heartbreaking. So close to home, you know. I know a lot of people in the area.
I was hoping that he wasn't like dead or like anything like that. Like, I mean, a kid like that shouldn't deserve to die for something being born about. Like, it isn't fair. Like, it's just not right.
Now, the state of New York does have a law allowing a parent to abandon a newborn baby up to 30 days of age anonymously and without fear of prosecution if the baby is abandoned in a safe manner. We're talking, for example, at a hospital, in front of a police station that is staffed. But the parent has to notify an appropriate person promptly. For now, it's the very latest here in Astoria. Wale Aliyu, News 4, New York.
You're taking thousands of kids' lives in jeopardy.
Mitchell Greenblatt is furious after receiving a notification from the Mahwah Town School District late last night, which read in part, several months ago, a student made a threat to shoot up Ramapo Ridge Middle School on Friday, February 23rd.
When they found this out in November, the kid should have been suspended automatically.
The notification says Mahwah police and school administrators investigated the threat, and the student who made it has recently been removed from school for the remainder of the year. Greenblatt, who has a daughter in the middle school, says notifying parents months after a threat is made isn't something he agrees with.
What would have happened, God forbid, from November until now, February 23rd, if the kid did anything?
Too much information is not always great, but in this case, if it's my kid, I want to know everything, and I want to know it right away.
Wendy Kay says she somewhat understands the late alert, but at the same time, following the school shooting in Parkland, Florida, hesitating can be dangerous.
From what I understand, down in Florida, the kid was on the FBI's radar and someone dropped the ball. So leaving a child in school who's already noted with an issue doesn't seem to make the most sense to me.
The alert goes on to say at the end of the school day on February 22nd, the school will be secured. And on February 23rd, the Mahwah Police Department will have officers present in the school throughout the entire school day. Now, you'll see more of these on the dates mentioned by that student, but for some parents, they say that is just not enough.
They should have had a meeting about this and be able to let the parents, not just me, but every parent in Mahwah or any other district, be able to discuss this and ask questions.
And as the conversation grows on the Mahwah Parent Facebook group, the 23rd may be a day off for some students despite the added security.
Maybe our kids need to be sick on February 23rd. You know what? My daughter's not going to school February 23rd.
In Mahwah, Ken Bufa, News 4 New York. Parents in Mahwah received another email from officials apologizing for the Friday alert, explaining, quote, the timing of the email was unfortunate but necessary to respond to increased rumor and inaccurate social media chatter regarding a potential school shooting at Ramapo Ridge. The email points out police investigated this last fall, and the rumors and alleged threats were unsubstantiated. Officials added, we're doing everything reasonable and legally possible to provide a safe environment for our students.
Authorities say one of the men arrested in connection with a Morris Park murder was related to the victim. Jocelyn Espada and Nelson Lopez were charged in connection to that crime. Investigators say Espada shot his cousin, 49-year-old George Carrasquillo, and he was shot multiple times in his car on Hone Avenue back on February 5th, just steps away from a Catholic school.
The snow has stopped, but the roads are a little bit slippery still. As you can see, they're definitely a little bit wet. There's puddles, and the snow is still on the ground. Again, the snow has stopped, but it's freezing outside, so definitely bundle up, wear a hat, scarf, gloves, and if you do need to leave the house, of course, drive slow and be patient out there. My advice, stay inside. Take Sunday, take the day to hang. It's a little bit easier than coming out here, but the snow has stopped, so you can drive, but it's a little bit slippery, so just definitely be careful out here, guys.
As bizarre as the discoveries of those stones were, the phone calls to these family members, as you can imagine, was just as unusual. We were able to find the daughter of Margaret Peck Jean Smith, who was stunned to find out about the stone, and she provided more insight about the company that made it. Her stone, one of 4 found at Ferry Point parking lot on Friday, and although Smith died in 2013, Sherry Grimes tells me that the siblings purchased their late mother's stone last spring. They purchased it on headstonedeals.com. She says the first stone they made was flat and she had requested a bevel stone, adding that during our conversation, she remembers the company making the mistake, creating a flat stone instead of fixing that mistake before shipping. She says that somehow it must have ended up here. And that accidental gravestone, among others, found in Ferry Point Park, discarded in New York City.
I didn't know it was going to get just thrown like that. I mean, it's a nice piece of rock, stone. You'd think they'd, I don't know, sandblast off what they'd done and, somehow reuse it. I don't know. But, gosh, Mom always did want to go to New York.
And you could just hear her there making the best out of the situation. The New York City Parks Department, whose property the stones were discovered on, tells us New York City Parks is coordinating with our partners at the NYPD to determine when and how these items were illegally discarded at the site. Now, News 12 has also reached out to headstonedeals.com, whose headquarters appear to be in New Jersey, for more information as to how this may have happened. Of course, we will keep you updated as soon as we know more.
Saturday, a somber day in the Bronx. Tears were shed as members of the U.S. military carried the casket of Private Emmanuel Mensah.
He was a very kind, loving, energetic, patriotic, and a smart young man.
Mensah was only 26 when he lost his life on December 28th, running into his burning Prospect Avenue apartment building several times to rescue tenants.
If he had a penny, he would give it to you.
Mensah lived with his cousin in Ghana before coming to the United States in 2012.
We spoke the day before the incident. He had talked about starting life as the military police.
That's a dream Mensah was never able to make reality. He died saving New Yorkers during the city's deadliest fire in the last quarter century. The FDNY showing their gratitude.
It means that they cherish the sacrifice that my cousin made, and they're appreciative of all the efforts that he made.
Mensah's father was presented with a memorial plaque during his son's funeral mass. Cardinal Dolan thanked Private Mensah, telling congregants that the former National Guardsman took up his cross the day he died, saving lives, reminding mourners that the name Emmanuel means God is with us.
I believe that the family will be able to get over this tragic incident.
That family has a long road ahead, now terribly missing someone who was not only important to them, but became a symbol of heroism across the nation.
We talked so much. We talked about all our life aspirations, all our life's hopes.
In Belmont, Anthony Carlo, News 12 The Bronx.
really scary if you think about it, that this could happen so easily. Police saying that he put these skimmers on at least 4 ATMs at 4 banks across our borough, getting away with, like you said, about $8,000. Well, if you take a look, this is surveillance images captured of the man police are now searching for. They believe he is responsible for all of this. Now, police say he is believed to be about 5'10", has facial hair, and was last seen wearing a black winter coat with a hood. Cops say this all went down between Sunday, December 17th and Monday, December 18th. Police say in total he stole $8,116 from 4 different people. Now, again, those devices have been removed from the ATMs, but unfortunately he did get away with all that money. Police are asking you to keep an eye out for those skimmers. Be aware when you're using the ATM. Just keep an eye out for those, and also keep an eye out for this man. If you have any information, you're asked to call police. In Brighton Beach, I'm Katie Lasso, News 12, Brooklyn.
Advocates say these alleged incidents highlight the need for Black history to be taught better and taught more often at all grade levels. In one incident out of the Bronx, a teacher was reportedly barred by her school's principal from teaching about the Harlem Renaissance. That sparked another rally earlier this week and served as a major rallying cry here today. Advocates are calling for Black history to be incorporated into K-12 curricula instead of confined to the short month of February.
Our children should no longer look at books that only have one ethnic group that's representative of the greatness of this country. It's the contribution of all groups that have it.
And there actually is some legislation introduced to do just that. The bill, sponsored by State Senator Jesse Hamilton, would create a commission on African American history and then make recommendations for schools to develop that, incorporate it into their curricula. In Brownsville, Tony Chow, News 12, Brooklyn.
It's a special tour held specifically for Black History Month, and so many tickets were sold for today's event at Greenwood Cemetery that another tour had to be organized for next week. Guests traveling around the cemetery by trolley to see the headstones and grave markers of prominent Black figures. Some include the first Black female doctor in the state and New York's first Black millionaire, and that's just to name a few. The tour is held every year to celebrate Black History Month.
Well, this burglar making off with passports, checks, and hundreds of dollars in cash. As for how he got inside the apartment building, well, cops say he trailed a delivery guy. This is the man police are looking for in connection with the burglary back on January 8th around 7:30 p.m. They say this suspect followed a delivery person into a residential building around St. Mark's Avenue and Vanderbilt Avenue. Now, once inside, we're told the burglar covered his face with a mask and gained access to one of the apartments, stealing passports, checks, and around $400 in cash. All this happening in the 77th precinct, where burglaries and robberies are actually way down over the same period last year, according to NYPD statistics. Now take another look at that suspect. You can see he was wearing a blue hooded sweatshirt under a black jacket. Now, of course, if you recognize the man in that photo, you're being asked to call Crime Stoppers, and that number is 1-800-577-TIPS. In Prospect Heights, Naomi Choi-Smith, News 12, Brooklyn.
I'm Jill Wagner. Here are your top business and tech headlines from Cheddar. It was a calmer week on Wall Street. Markets bounced back after dipping below 24,000 for the first time in 2018 last week. Next week, we'll see earnings from retailers like Home Depot, Walmart, and Foot Locker. The highly anticipated film Black Panther hits theaters this weekend, but if you want to see it, buy those tickets quick. The movie has one of the highest ticket pre-sale rates of all time. And during a time of crisis, like Wednesday's mass shooting in Parkland, Florida, organizations like Lyft want to help people get home safe. Cheddar spoke with the head of social impact at Lyft, Mike Masterman, about how his organization jumps into action during dangerous times. For Cheddar, I'm Jill Wagner from the New York Stock Exchange.
It's beautiful because mothers do need to come together to say stop.
35-year-old Marita Bayati knows what it means to have a close loved one ripped away from her as the result of violent crime.
And it's not a pleasant feeling at all. It's heartbreaking.
But Bayati has taken that personal loss and turned it into a gain for the community. She says her pain has inspired her to become a counselor and mentor for teenage girls.
We have a lot of power as mothers.
She was also inspired by the 100 Mothers of Murder Victims who came together 1 week ago in Bridgeport to call for peace. Bayati feels a powerful kinship with the group, Connecticut Mothers United for Healing.
We have control in our households We can reach our children, our sons, our daughters, but most importantly, we need to still insert values in our children right at home. So it definitely starts with us.
The group's organizers say Biody's reaction to their first meeting was typical of what they heard from so many people. People who saw the moms coming together and were inspired to make their own contributions to the fight for peace. It's a story of individual courage and group determination.
We know that the mothers are the key and the main focus we need to deal with, because they're the only ones that's going to allow our children to see that this should not be.
Being a savage will only place you two places. That's either in prison or in the cemetery. So we want to bring about a different mindset. We want to change the mindset of the youth, whereas they no longer celebrate being a savage, they celebrate being a thinker.
We're all in this together. So this is something that's all inclusive, that I want to know, what does everyone feel that we can do in order to stop from losing any more lives?
It's important for us to come together and make an impact and get our children on the right path and stop the violence.
In Bridgeport, Frank Recchia, News 12 Connecticut.
The inherent right to work is one of the elemental privileges of a free people. Endowed, as our nation is, with abundant physical resources, and inspired as it should be to make those resources and opportunities available for the enjoyment of all, we approach re-employment with the real hope of finding a better answer than we have now.
Donate to Goodwill, where your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community.
Forecast over the next 12 hours, we will see tons of sunshine today, a light wind out of the northwest gusting at times this morning, with temperatures topping out in the mid-40s. So for today, we'll call it mostly sunny, breezy and cool again. Winds will be gusty this morning out of the northwest at about 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting to 25. But through the afternoon, they will start to subside as temperatures climb into the mid and upper 40s. For tonight, we'll see mostly clear skies, cold temperatures. Lows will be right around where they are right now in the low to mid 30s with light winds and dry conditions. Across the northeast at this hour, you can see some very cold air up towards the Great Lakes with some milder temperatures along the coast. Generally, though, as we go through the course of the day, we will see temperatures above normal. The cloud and radar loop showing our storm from last night moving offshore and away from us, bringing all of that snow with it. As we go through the course of the day today, it's going to be beautiful. We'll see a lot of sunshine, a little bit of a breeze, temperatures a few degrees above normal in the mid-40s. As we get into the overnight, we'll see clear skies with lows in the 30s, and then for your Monday, we'll start with sunshine and then see clouds and showers by the second half of the day with high temperatures in the low 50s. 60s then for your Tuesday with some fog, and then 71 degrees for your high on Wednesday with some morning fog. 50 then Thursday, a little bit cooler Friday, and back into the 50s for the weekend.